Hello, everyone. Hearing so much about traveling and the hassles we go through sometimes, I wanted to make a video of traveling, of some ideas, and I'm taking bits and pieces of research that I've done. I also made a list, a checklist for you, because I couldn't find a good one. I couldn't find one that really fit a wheelchair user, so I made one. So I turned it into a PDF file, and I will post it along with this video. So I think it might be helpful. So I'll post it under the travel opinion. So this is coming from the cloud of goods. So it's coming out of Orlando, USA. So it's called the Ultimate Checklist of Disabled Travelers. so so pre-planning the trip, of course, we have to figure out what is accessible, what is not accessible. I think it's really important for you to know your rights if you're traveling in the U.S. or if you're traveling outside of the country, because your rights might change drastically going from one country to another. So I think a lot of you know that already. But before you go to wherever you're going, check what your rights are. So here in the U.S., it's a little bit easier because we have the ADA and the other, the ACAA. So let's see. Accessible travel agencies. So sometimes for us, it might be better to go through a travel agency. I don't know. Up to you. Some of you have a lot of experience traveling. Some of us don't. And, the travel agency, there are special travel agencies out there, and I will add that list, that help people with disabilities. And they specifically work with people with disabilities. So what do? They help check your travel to make sure things are accessible. They make sure that the hotel has saved your room and doesn't give it away, like it happened to me once. So travel agencies just make sure everything is there for when you arrive. So that might be a good option for you. Transportation trips, air travel. So my list that I made is mainly for those who are traveling via air. And so, it has a separation of carry-on and check-ins and all that kind of stuff. So, so you want to have all the phone numbers, and I have that on my list for ground transportation, train, bus, taxi, van, whatever it is that you plan to take while traveling. Cruise ships, you want to investigate what they have and what they don't have, what's accessible, what's not accessible. Call them if you need to do that. And this travel agency might do all the research for you if you use a travel agency. So for cruise ships, I've never been on a cruise ship, so I can't fess up to that one. Technology and apps, I will post a couple of apps, names of apps that you can use for traveling, that will map out what is accessible or where to go to accessible bathrooms or accessible gas stations, accessible, accessible restaurants, all that kind of stuff. What to pack. So on my list, I have it all there. So I might have missed one or two things, but I think it's pretty complete. And it just helps you, check, to make sure you have it. Because I'm one that, oh, darn, I forgot my socks. Oh, darn, I forgot this. Oh, darn, I forgot. So, I get myself into more than one pickle. Medical supplies, I have that on the list already. Mobility aids, I have that on the list. Medications, I have that on the list. And with underline, to take your doctor's prescriptions for all those meds, and especially if you're traveling. It's not needed if you're traveling within your country, but if you're traveling outside of your country, you're going to need those prescriptions. Any kind of documentation that you need from your doctor that states sometimes the airlines will hesitate and get into these undies in the bundle. So you might want to take a letter if you feel it's necessary that yes, your doctor allows you to travel, no issues. Communication aids, anything, sometimes I need that because I am deaf. I use cochlear implants, but it doesn't fix everything. So I do take my phone with me, and that records or, captions what the other person is saying. Comfort items, anything for pain, anything for, any snacks, anything that, seat cushions, an extra one, whatever you feel like you need. So that is the part of this list. And I have, of course, the list I created, and it has clothing, has medical items, it has carry-on bags, and do not forget list. So everything is on that list. I think it's an important tool to have because, we end up having to take a lot of things with us and extra items too. So some of us have digestive issues, bowel issues. Some of us have, feeding needs, so that needs to go with us. Special meds need to go with us, and I have a ton of those. My last trip was to Canada to visit family, and I brought all the prescriptions and my meds. I left them in the original package. So I just put a rubber band around it. I didn't separate them into the little boxes until I got to Canada so that, if there was any questions, the aides could, the TSA agents could look and see all the prescriptions and they were in their original package. So there was no doubt that I needed those meds. So anyway, also investigate where you're traveling. If it is allowed, certain medications are not allowed in certain countries. So, and you don't want to do something silly like taking CBD oils or anything related to marijuana, because in another country it's absolutely prohibited and you'll end up in some trouble there. So don't go there. Just don't. Because for some countries it is absolutely prohibited, so by law. So otherwise, medications in general are passed with flying colors if you have the prescriptions. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. Just pre-check, and pre-plan before you go so you can have fun, that you're relaxed, that you checked everything, or you went through a travel agency and they arranged everything, and tell us how it went. Accessible Go is one group that I rely on, and you can book your trip through them, and they'll explain to you how, and they will make sure that the reservations stay reserved, and they can give you some tips on what is accessible in the area where you're going and where to have plenty of fun as a wheelchair user. All right, folks, I'll make sure that my list is attached so that you can review it, use it, and you can print it over and over again for as many trips as you need. And it is completely free. I'm not charging. I just sat here and typed it up. So it is a free list, checklist for your trips. I hope it is useful. If there's any recommendations for this list, let me know, and I'll be happy to add or change anything on the list. All right, people, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.